Did anyone else notice that Max Verstappen went straight for downing his bottle on the Saudi Arabian podium? And given how he reacted to that penalty, it did make me wonder whether there was anything symbolic behind that. Admittedly, the race was really warm, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was just absolutely parched. And I believe the drink was rosewater, so that should be quite refreshing. But on the other hand, he did have water bottles during Parc Ferme and when he was waiting for the podium, so to go straight for the drink instead of spraying anyone on the podium is rather unusual. But like I said, it really may be nothing. But if it is something, here is why I think he did it. I don't think it was against Piastri. In fact, he was rather complimentary towards the driver during the post-race conference. If it is anything, it's against the FIA. As we all know, Max Verstappen was very displeased with the fact that he received a 5-second penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. So much so that he said it was bleep lovely. I don't know what the bleep was, but his team did have to tell him to kind of keep a lid on everything he wanted to say. Now, I'm not going to talk about whether he should have got the penalty or not, because I think so many other creators have done a really good job of explaining what happened. But somebody who definitely didn't think he should have got the penalty was Horner. In fact, during his media debrief, he had a picture printed out of one of Max's onboards. And in this, he was showing that Verstappen was ahead of Piastri. But he went on to say that the FIA are pretty firm in their decision. They think it's a slam dunk. Furthermore, I'd argue one of the biggest frustrations for the Red Bull F1 team wasn't necessarily the actual 5 seconds, but more that they feel like the pre-agreements aren't necessarily being followed. For example, Horner argued that the whole let them race has kind of gone out the window, and it doesn't really match the rules of engagement that have been previously agreed to. Also, there was some confusion about whether Max Verstappen got track limits for this incident, as Verstappen was warned about track limits, but then he came back saying that during the driver's briefing, they were told that track limits wouldn't count in this situation, but then Sky Sports seemed to suggest that this wasn't actually an official track limits warning, but it was more that Red Bull's sort of system had flagged it up and they were just kind of letting him know. Either way, I'm not too surprised that it looked like there was a little bit of a heated conversation between the FIA president and Max Verstappen during Parc Ferme, and that Verstappen didn't want to comment on the situation whatsoever. Based on the various interviews that he gave, it seems like he feels as if he can't give his opinion.
I mean, I know that I cannot not swear in here, but at the same time, you can also not be critical or any kind of form that might harm or danger or let me get the sheet out. There's a lot of lines, you know, so it's better. That's why it's better not to talk about it, you know, because you can put yourself in trouble.
So bringing it back to the podium, if there is a message behind him just downing his drink, I think it's that he's taking a stance.